Right, so we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Eliteserien Fantasy. This is Game Week 2 preparation. What an Game Week 1, a lot of drama, a lot of actions there. A captain with a red card, but luckily he got a goal, so something there. Another captain option got injured, so all of that will be covered in Game Week 1. Today I'm joined by Jakob to talk more about Game Week 1 and what is coming up on Game Week 2. Jakob, tell me, how are you?
I'm really good. Finally, Eliteserien is back. It's been very good to watch as many games as I could, so now I'm ready to talk about game week 2.
Yes, we are looking forward to that, and of course, I managed to watch a lot of minutes of Eliteserien Game Week 1, and surprisingly, I finally figured out some faces that I didn't know before. Like, I know each player, but never know how he looks like, so that was funny to know. Let's go through Game Week 1, and of course, we will go through our teams, talk about the scores and how we did first. But we have more topics. So tell us, Jakob, what is going on in the show today?
Yes, as you said, we're going to talk about the fixtures that went on in game week 1. We will also talk about what we will do for game week 2, captaincy options, what we will do with Molde offense when Akram and James now is out maybe for the next game. We'll talk a little bit about start and odd. And we will show our teams for game week 2.
Yeah, so let's kick on with a review of game week 1. I will start with a higher to lower. It's really close to say. 59 points for me. Many players were heroes and others were zero. So overall rank is 1930. I would say that probably there are 1,000 people with the same score. So your rank doesn't matter at the moment, but it's great to have 15 points more than the average of 44. Clayson, Hayden, Vogt, Sandberg, Singernagel, and Borvin, all heroes. Maigard, Konishita, Distler, and Zachariasens didn't do anything that justifies the picks. James was the man of the match. First of all, he got a yellow card for a very weird tackle, and then he conceded the penalty with a penalty. That was the yellow card, and then he scored the goal, and then he got the red card. So a lot of points there coming and going. He will be suspended for game week 2, but should be back for game week 3. He was my captain. Ikram scored with 2 bonus points, but he got injured. So Jakob, 56 points is still a great one as well. Tell us who was the star for your team and who disappointed you.
Yeah, the star of my team was easily Salvesen. I had a really poor game week until yesterday, where Salvesen got me 10, Sandberg got me 9, so that got me up to 56. Other than that, my double Stabæk defense worked out really well with Hank Olsen and Sandberg. Both my Viking guys got an assist, but other than that, Viking looked really poor. The poor thing was my captain choice, which was Helland. He missed a big chance, but my other captain would have been James, and that would be the same score. So it's okay for now.
Yeah, Salvesen proved to be a much better value in game week 1 than Maigard, with a goal and assist and 1 bonus point. So that was great. We both benched 11 points. It would have been nice a bench boost maybe, but it is always like that with the beginning of the season. It's good to know that we are running a small mini league. Well, actually, it's getting bigger now. We have over 110 players in ESN Fantasy League. You can find the code here in the screen, 83YYSD. This is a general one. Join us and compete for top 5 or top 3 for our league. Game week 1 matches, 8 matches, started with the champion Molde playing away against Alessand with goals from Ikram, Hestad, Hossein, and James. Jakob, you watched the match probably. I did watch a lot of minutes. Tell us your summary about Molde and some people that stood out for you.
Yeah, as you said, a lot of goals. I predicted that before the game as well because none of these teams really have solid defenses, and that's why it's a bit surprising that Gregersen got 3 bonus out of this game. But the goal Olesen scored was a screamer from 40 yards, so maybe a bit difficult to defend from that. But they also missed a penalty, so Olesen could actually have 2 goals. But Molde shows us once again that they have the best offense in the league and easily scored 4. Could scored more, so yeah, they show us how good they are in offense.
Yeah, and thoughts with with Castro owners, who missed the penalty and finished on 0 points. Probably, yeah, 0 points.
Yep.
Could have been easily 7 with some bonus points. I thought the Molde defense was solid. As expected, most of the defenders turned up in the game. Bjornback, and Christopher Hayden. I made the last switch. I was on Bjornback. But then I switched to Hayden because that's the guy I wanted with the attacking potential, and he got 5 points. But also, Bjornback got a fantasy assist from a blocked shot. So happy to have him going forward. But now Molde without offensive players, probably Ikram is a doubt, and James is suspended, and Uhi is not fit yet. So we'll discuss that later on. Odd one. Sandefjord kicked off the season with a big surprise with a bang of 2-1 win against Odd. So Odd from in an odd situation where we have confirmed the news that Borven is leaving, but also the performance was not up to the standard. It's not Odd that we saw last season, pretty much like the preseason. So were you surprised by that?
I know many have predicted Odd to do poor this season, but to lose at home to Sandefjord was really surprising. And to be honest, Sandefjord, it wasn't lucky. They was even better than Odd in some parts of the game. I would say that Berven owners was lucky because other than the penalty, he didn't create a single chance.
Yeah.
So that's a bit worrying if you are a Berven owner. And now that he is confirmed to Rosenborg, I don't know how his motivation is to play for Odd as well. But what surprised me the most by this game is that the Sandefjord defense, other than conceding the penalty, maybe they should have had 2 penalties. They were really solid. And Foss at 4.0 got 2 bonus, had a lot of praise after the game. So their defense could be, we could find some cheap gems in that defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one caught my eye was Rofo. I have him in another draft game with the 8 players draft, and he did not do anything like from an attack and retains perspective, but he got 1 bonus points, and it's really good to know where the commentators are looking towards these promoted teams, because it seems like that they are picking specific players repeatedly for the bonus points. So it's nice to know that probably Foss will be a contender for a lot of bonus points, but also Rofo as well. Yeah, that's something to keep an eye on. 2 matches ended with 0-0, so probably nothing much attacking wise we can talk about, but certainly defensively. Rosenborg, I think this is the third clean sheet in a row since the preseason as well. They kept 2 against Christiansen. The game did not have a lot of a chance from both teams as well. So a lot of concerns for the Rosenborg expensive players, Adilbenro, Heland, Zakariasen, and Islamovic. Is it a question mark now, the Rosenborg offense?
It's difficult because although they didn't play great, they had some big chances. And if they scored 1, maybe Kristiansund would have pushed forward more and they would Rosenborg would have scored more. But for me, Rosenborg looked quite the same as they did last year. They seem like they don't really know what to do when they got to the final third. And Helland, who was my captain, missed a big chance and some bad set pieces as well. So the one that stood out for me in the offense for Rosenborg was maybe Adik Benro. He was the one creating chances. Islamovic, I put out a tweet where there was like a percentage of if they would score in game week 1, and he had over 50%. But after watching that game, I can't understand how he had a so high percentage, because he hit the post once, but other than that, he looked very, very poor.
Yeah, as a Zachariasen owner, seems to be that I took the least risk in terms of investment in the Rosenborg attack, but according to SofaScore, they did not have complete stats and data about this game for some reason. But there is a heat map for Zachariasen where it shows that he had 0 touches in the box, which is very concerning for a midfielder, a very attacking midfielder, I would say, one of the most talented players in the league. So that's a question mark. And I see already FPL Historybo, welcome to the stream. He is an old follow as well. And by the way, he has a nice podcast for the beginners. So I highly recommend you to give it a listen. And he already had a podcast review in game week 1. So give it a listen. He says he has already sold Zachariasen. So the eye test was clearly far from being an 8.5 midfielder. So that raises a lot of question mark as well. Stabæk and Mjøndalen, pretty much it was saying nil-nil game. So if you've got defenders from Stabæk, which I assume so, Sandberg or Vogt or Hans Olsen, he's a legend, bonus point legend. Then well done, because you got a lot of clean sheet points as well from Solheim Johansen as well, with a yellow card, so that's only 5 points. But I think Stabæk was a little bit lucky to get the clean sheet. There was 2 clear-cut chances for Mjøndalen to score, but they did not convert it. Do you agree on that?
Yeah, Stabæk could have lost their clean sheet in just like a minute of the game, because Mjøndalen, if it was any other player than Sel, the right back, Mjøndalen would have scored. But since he's a defender, it almost looked like he cleared the ball and not finished the ball. So the ball went sky high. But other than that, I think we all predicted that this would end in few goals. And maybe to notice that Mjøndalen looked solid at the back as well. Maybe Stabæk is not the best attack, but there are some cheap players from that defense as well that you could maybe get some value in them.
Yeah, absolutely. The fixtures as well for them, they are not really bad. For Mjøndalen, for example, they have Sarpsborg, which we will talk about in a minute. Viking is a tricky one. Kristiansand is a good one, actually. Alesand is a good one. So you have 3 of the next 4 with potential of a clean sheets for Mjøndalen. If you look at the Stabæk, you have Vålerenga, Sandefjord, 2 good fixtures. Probably you look at one of them at least. Molde is a tough one, but then Strømsgodset is another fixture with potential of a clean sheet. So 2 out of 4. So good going forward, I would say, for both teams. Now, one of the most interesting matches, goals-wise, festive of goals. It is sad for you and Espe because your team lost this game, Viking. But it was an entertaining game with a lot of fantasy points from Bodø/Glimt and Viking. Now, Bodø/Glimt had the question marks after selling Lajoni and Evian. How would they turn up this season? And they look like impressive. They looked impressive as well. So tell us more about this game. How do you see from Viking perspective as well, and Bodø/Glimt?
Yeah. This game ended 4-3 last season, so we were expecting goals, and unfortunately, Bodø/Glimt again scored 4. Viking was leading 2-1 at halftime, but they were very lucky. The goals they scored was a set piece and a Zlatan goal from Østensen. But in the second half, Bodø/Glimt just was on another level. I thought the Viking defense was solid, but it seems like even if they sell their best players, all the players that come in the same positions know what they're doing. They have the same qualities, and they just play 1-2 touches, and they have quick wingers, process it in, and it seems like even if they sell Jeppe Hauge now, they will have a replacement, and he will do equally as good as
Yeah.
Jeppe Hauge.
Yeah, and they are really priced nicely. They are considered as mid-price bracket. St. United is the most expensive one at 8 million. Hage and Saltness for 7.5. One of the things we anticipated is the bonus points that Berg will get. He's 4.5 central defensive midfielder. He's the captain, and 6 goals in this game. The commentator gave Berg 3 bonus points. So it is one of the things that you have to keep an eye on. You would be tempted to start Berg week in, week out. He had a nice shot as well. It was on target, but saved by Ostbo. So Berg, 3 bonus points. What are we talking about? And Zingeragel, goal and assist, an impressive goal, impressive run on the wing for the Hader goal. And he got 1. So any explanation to that?
It's difficult. If I presume a lot of us is playing FPL as well, and there you like, if you have a player that scores, you automatically think that he will get at least 1 bonus. But here it is like, often with the commentators, they like often the defensive midfielders that dictate the tempo of the game. We saw Saletros got 3 bonus from Sarpsborg. Bohinen was a bonus magnet last season. And Berg this season also. They maybe are not on the score sheet, not maybe an assist, but they have the ball so much that the commentators automatically think about them when they need to say their 3 bonus points.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like the central players are more likely to get bonus points. So center backs, central defensive midfielders, and of course the central attacking midfielders than the wingers or the fullbacks. So if you look at Molde game, Gregersen got 3 bonus points. Although you have Christopher Hayden, who was very attacking, was impressive. He had an assist, but 0 bonus points. So that's something to keep an eye on. It is something
also, the start game, the defensive midfielder got 3 points.
Yeah.
So it just confirms that the defensive midfielders or central players, they will get more bonus points than the wingers and the fullbacks.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. Sarpsborg, nil, Vålerenga 1. There is a funny stat you posted already on Twitter. Does not represent the fact that it ended 1-0. But tell us, what is that stat? And Vålerenga with Fagermo is the coach, if I pronounce his name correctly. He is very well-known coach, as we said last week, that he turned up his teams defensively well. But 1-0, clean sheet for Vålerenga. Kleisen with save point and save point, but a yellow card and 2 bonus points. So it's a good investment in Vålerenga defense with Dunham goal, Williamson assist. Tell us more about this game.
Yeah, as you said, I posted a stat that Vålerenga in this match conceded 12 shots in their own penalty area, and they didn't concede. And Sarpsborg conceded 2 shots, and 1 of them went in. So either they tell us that Sarpsborg is not very dangerous when they attack, or it tells us that Claesson is a very good keeper and saves a lot. So, but other than that, although these stats shows that Sarpsborg had a lot more shots, it was a very tight game. And as you said, Fagermo is known for taking a solid defense when he takes over a club. So I think we should expect more clean sheets from Vålerenga. But I also expect Sarpsborg to score more goals because they were very close at a few occasions.
Yeah. Strand Larsen, he blanked in all the preseason. He blanked in this game as well. He made way in my team in the last 10 minutes or so when I had to make decisions. I put him in after the last stream and I put him out as well. But Moss looked like he is slowly getting either to play with him or taking his place. Could be a lot of temptation to invest in Moss if Salzburg attack turn up well. Strand Larsen doesn't look to be in his best moments, I think. One of the things that needs to be as well mentioned is Saletros. He is 5.0 midfielder. We talked about him last week. He could be something, and like I said, he got a yellow card. His team did not score. You know what? Give him 3 bonus points. So something to also keep an eye on. Probably he played very well. I did not watch the games, unfortunately, but it looks like that he's one of the players that the commentators will give a lot of bonus points. Start 2, Stromgrotset 2. There is one player in Start that caught the eye, and Heskribo in the chat says I replaced Zakariasin with him. So tell us about this player and how Start started the season.
Yeah, as you said, Markovic, Eman Markovic, who came from Molde a couple of seasons ago, has caught the eye of many players because his stats, he got 4 key passes, had 6 shots. He should have scored almost a hat-trick. And he is only 6.0 and plays in like the cam behind the striker. And along with the Start offense, they were actually the much better team than Strømsgodset. I posted a stat that Strømsgodset conceded 18 shots in their own penalty area in this match.
Wow.
So that Strømsgodset was able to take a draw from this match shows that either the Start defense is very weak or that Salvesen and the Strømsgodset attack is quite strong. But yeah, that's something to look out for, that Strømsgodset conceded 18 shots in their own penalty.
Yeah, that's a huge amount of shots. Hedgesand won Brand 2. After a lead 1-0, they lost by 2 goals. Niklas Sandberg converted a penalty, so that's nice to have in my team as well, in many teams as well. He's on by 11%, so it's a kind of a differential as well. Tyler impressed the last preseason match, and he's scored a goal as well. 3 bonus points to Peterson, 2 to Sandberg. Krumson got a bonus point as well. So what can you tell us about this game?
Yeah, and Pedersen scored, but again, a defensive midfielder, 3 bonus. The same pattern as the other games, but I think it was Brann won comfortable. They were the better team than Haugesund. Haugesund struggled to create. I was a bit disappointed to see Kalman and Amit Spøll. They were not as impressive as they have been in preseason. Sandberg, as you mentioned, was on all the set pieces. He scored the penalty. So if you don't have him, I would look at him as a good player to get in. Mm-hmm. But as you mentioned, Taylor, and of course Komsun as well, but Taylor, because he is on some set pieces as well, could be very tempting at, I think he's only at 7.0. So yeah, Brann was looking good, and next game they will play a Viking defense that didn't look that good.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, there are a couple of names already from game week 1, Markovic, Taylor as well. Those players, those are the kind of players that are pushing for an early transfer. I did not like the look of Maigard. Last game he had 0 shots, 0 attempts, but he's still on set pieces. But he can certainly be one of those players at a cheaper price as well. So it's a wait and see. But they are getting close to my team as well. That's pretty much about game week 1. Now moving on to some other parts, I would say that there are some stats already posted by you, Jakob. I took a screenshot of it on Twitter. One of them you just mentioned already. Most shots allowed in their own penalty area. Viken 15, Valeringa 12, Alessand 10. So it's an early indication that we can potentially target their defenses if they keep this form. Least shots allowed in their own penalty area. Those are the teams you don't want to target. their defenses. Stabik and Sarpsborg with 2, although Vålerenga could score from 1 against Sarpsborg. Molde, as expected. Mjøndalen impressed, but I have some thoughts that Stabik offense is not that great as well since Bully left last season. They did not replace him. Kinoshita, he is the main striker for 6 million for a reason. More stats here from you, Jakob, as well. I'll just go through it quickly. Stromgros allowed 18 shots inside their own area. Markovic, 6.0 million. 4 key passes and 6 shots, 1% ownership. With a look at him, he will be a bonus points magnet as well. Brand missing 2 of the 3 big chances they had in the game, same as last season, shows that you can anticipate some clean sheets against Brand if they continue this way. Jakob, you mentioned also some summaries. I put him in the screen here. Feel free, our listener, to go to FPL at FPL Viking 10 and get a recap on this. Jakob posted the first 6 matches summary about each of the first day games. What are his thoughts on this? So I will just go through the next step, which is about game week 2. And I will put the matches here. We have 8 more matches start on Saturday, 2 of them on Saturday and 6 on Sunday. So tell us more about the games, and during that, what kind of captain options we are looking for. Perhaps someone from Odd Borven against Stromgrotset, since we are already mentioned some stats against Stromgrotset. Vålerenga maybe, but what do you think of Bodo Glimt as well against Haugesund? So captain options and game week 2.
Yeah, it's very difficult to choose a captain this game week because you would probably go for a Molde player, but they play Rosenborg, and although their attack didn't impress, their defense looks quite solid at the back with Reginiussen getting 2 bonus. He was very good last game. But as you mentioned, in the Strømsgodset Odd game, both their defenses conceded quite a lot of shots. So either if you have Børven, if he plays though, or if you have the likes of Maigard and Salvesen, they could be good options. Bodø Glimt could be some good options as well, but last year this game ended 0-0, 0-0. So Haugesund are good at keeping games low scoring. I also, although Mjøndalen kept a clean sheet, Sarpsborg created a lot of chances against Vålerenga. Now playing against Mjøndalen, if you have the belief in Jørgen Strand Larsen, maybe he could be a captain option. But other than that, I think it will be quite spread around the captain option this week.
Yeah, especially with James being suspended and Ikram is a doubt. I think Ikram will be hugely captained in a tough fixture like this. Just captain Ikram. I think Molde had the upper side last season as well, and it seems that nothing has changed. Molde is a free scoring team at the moment. Rosenborg is struggling a little bit. So if Ikram is fit, I think he will be heavily captained as well. One of the reasons I got Borven in game week 1 is not only because I fancied him against Sandefjord, which he did, but also this game week is good one for him against Stromgrotset. Now, Odd as a team overall, they are not doing great, and therefore you wonder about the service he will get, especially with Rashani is injured as well. So it's on him. But I'm advising one of the Bodø Glimt guys, Singer Nagel, could be probably involved in goals against Haugesund. However, speaking about Start, I think Sandefjord against Start, I did not see the record of last season when they were in the 2nd division. But it seems like Markovic could be a differential captain, extremely differential captain. He's still owned by 1%. So you will captain him like would be maybe you are the only one in the game. What do you think of Start against Sandefjord?
Yeah, I saw Heskebo mention that he would maybe
Ah.
captain Markovic.
Oh.
He was maybe one of the best players in Game Week 1, so it makes sense. But this time, Sandefjord, I think they got 15 out of 30 games. They had a clean sheet in Obosligaen. So at home, they usually are good at keeping clean sheets.
Mm.
But they have the style they play, Sandefjord, and the way Start pressured Strømsgodset last game. We could see some mistakes from Sandefjord when they try to play out from the back.
Mm.
And then maybe Start could score. And if Start scores, it's almost guaranteed that Markovic either has an assist or is involved in the goal.
Yeah, wow. It's a very difficult now. I'm looking at the games and I start to think, I don't have an easy captain choice this game week. Well, I mean, let's see how the fitness of Ikram goes first, and then it might make things easier. But here you go. You have a lot of options surrounding the game. Maybe Salveson as well. You know, he's in a good form now. Maybe you would target odd defense as well. I think this game could go sideways, either ways. Strong Grossi can score a lot of goals, and odd can score as well. So yeah, it's gonna be a tricky one. I just want to go to go ahead.
If you want to go for a really differential, because I have never seen a team with Castrati or Pellegrino from Kristiansund, but the Ålesund defense, they conceded 4 goals against Molde. They looked good attacking wise, but defensively, Ålesund is maybe a team to target for captain. So if you have Castrati, Pellegrino, I have not seen many teams with them. They could also be a great differential.
Wow. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Here you go. 2 more options here. Options. I just want to go to the questions we've got from our Slack community. So thanks to everyone who posted the question and some on Twitter as well. If you like to join our Slack, you can go to the description below and join us. There was a lot of nice chat over the last days, especially on match day. There are a lot of commentary. Who got the assist? This one scored. What is my guard? He blanked. So a lot of nice action as well, and the chat around Eliteserien. So feel free to join us. I will start with stats don't lie question. On Budget Limit investments, who makes way for them? I mean, I would assume that he has some players like Zakariasen, Maigard, and Castro. He wants to probably ship one of them for a Budget Limit asset. Which ones he should target? And who do you think is the best pick from Budget Limit? Personally, I own Singernagel. I like him, but I know already that he will not get a lot of bonus points. So, do we have some news about Hager? Because he looks to be one of the best options in Budget Limit, but there is always the uncertainty of him leaving the Eliteserien. So, what do you think of that?
Yeah, the reporter at the game asked Hauge after the game, and Hauge he didn't want to answer the question. He just said that if Bodø/Glimt plays like this, he will enjoy play here whilst he is there. And many rumors say that the 1st of July, that's when he will leave Bodø/Glimt. But that's why I probably would rank Saltnes and Sinkernagel over him, because if you transfer him in, you would probably have to transfer him out as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to go for the safe one, I would go for Saltnes, because he will play more, and he's also a bit of a bonus point magnet. Whilst Sinkernagel could get you some really high scores, but as we seen last season, he is also a bit rotated sometimes, or is subbed off early, or
yeah. I do think that Bodø/Glimt is one of the really attacking teams that you'd like to invest in more than one asset. I remember last year we had Lione and Evian together for a lot of part of the last season, and we usually used to captain one of Lione or Evian. Like Lione was 7.5 and Evian 4.5, so you've got 2 million to spend on two assets in Voodoo Limit. Now they cost more, but I still think that they offer a lot of value. So for me, I would still go Synchronidal because he can compensate the lack of the bonus points with more attacking returns. But if you need that 500,000, I would still go for Saltness because he seems to be involved in the attack. Although I wouldn't be very much comfortable that he will score week in week out. But Synchronidal can assist Juncker, for example, or Boniface or whoever is in the front. So I like him more, but I can understand if you want to save that 500,000. One more question we have from FPL Teenager in the Slack. Good teams to jump on from game week 3. Now, this is a little bit early because we need to know more in game week 2 about teams to target. But let's say the teams you were impressed with in game week 1. For me, Molde, of course. So James will be back in game week 3, although he did an idiotic second yellow card. But I think he deserves to be in the team. Bodo Clement as well. Who else you think of? Valeringa, Williamson converted some returns with some assists, but who do you think as well? Viking as well?
Yeah, Vicky. I was a bit disappointed by Haugesund because my plan was to jump on some Haugesund players after game week 3, or maybe in game week 3 as well, because in game week 3 they have Kristiansund at home, then they have Sandefjord away, and then they have Start at home. So they have 3 very nice fixtures that you could maybe have an attacker and a defender from Haugesund. Also, Viking have Mjøndalen at home in game week 3. Then they have Vålerenga away, which is a bit difficult, and then they have Sandefjord at home. And then they have Start away. But Molde's fixtures get better after they have faced, I think it's, when they face Start in game week 3.
Yeah.
So, but my plan was to jump on some Haugesund players because of their fixtures after game week 3.
Yeah, I was not impressed by Disler, the defender of Haggerson. He's currently on my bench. We will go shortly to our game week 2 plans. I'm not entirely sure I want to spend 5.5 million on a defender if they don't keep it clean sheets. Of course, it's one game week, so it's really hard to tell. But probably it's only Sandberg. Amidst Ball, I don't know. He looked okay, but you can understand he's cheap as well for 6 million.
Yeah.
So I will give them one more week. I'm happy to keep Sandberg. I'm okay to keep Disler, but I'll be patient with getting a third attacker. I need to see more from them personally. Thoughts on Storm Grosset? We mentioned that already. Rosenborg, they did not look great offensively, and they face Molde next game week. Is it the best to go without an attacking option from them? So Zachariasen, for example, I own him. What shall I do with him? You own him, I think. Yes, you do. You own Helland as well. So you have 2 attackers. Are you planning to ditch one of them at least against Molde?
Not against Molde, I think. I think I will wait with the transfer and have 2 for game week 3. But I am tempted to transfer out a Rosenborg attacker for a Bodø Glimt attacker because they don't have any creativity when they come and attack, and their set pieces, Helland set pieces, especially his corners, are really poor. And was really poor in the game. So and they are at high value, and that's like the problem with Zachariasen is that I think his ownership is like 40%.
Yeah.
42%. So if he scores, and he has the potential to score, then you will lose a lot of points. So if I would go without the Rosenborg attacker, I think Helland would be the one that I transfer out.
That makes sense. Yeah, so for me, I do have only Zachariasen. I think I think I'm gonna keep him just because I like the idea of rolling the transfer in game week 1. because I want to get more info about other teams. So I feel there is a more value in keeping Zacharias, and even if he blanks, than using the transfer and ship him out for someone that he probably got a nice game week, but what will happen in game week 2 and 3? So I think I will keep him, but just because I need to learn more about that. Although his stats from game week 1 were not impressive at all. Last question we have is more about best replacement options for James and Ikram. So let's start with James, who got a red card. Personally, I want to. He's currently on my bench. I think I have good 11 to field for game week 2. They are not impressive. For defenders, 2 or 3 of them have a tricky fixture as well. I don't anticipate a clean sheet there. But I think that the fact that I want James back, or I need a Molde attacker as well, makes me think that I can't keep James because he plays start and Stabik in the next game weeks. But more a reason that Ikram is a doubt. If Ikram is fit, it will make my life much easier to swap Zachariasen for Ikram and James for a cheap striker. But because Ikram is also a doubt, he's the only one I might go for. So it feels like I need to keep James just to save transfer as well, but also because Ikram is not confirmed yet. So that's my thinking about James. Ikram, I would probably not ship him out as long as he's a doubt, because he might turn up and play. Although these kind of injuries in a quick turnarounds for game week 2 is a short time to bring him fit again. But maybe there is a case of selling him if he is gonna miss out. What do you think?
Yeah, I won't either sell James because of the fixtures he has after. It's only a 1-match ban, so and that is against Rosenborg, and I wouldn't expect a lot of points against them.
I wouldn't captain
anyway.
him. Yeah.
So Akram, he scored 2 goals against them last season, but the defense in Rosenborg was not that great then. But I see someone have commented in the chat as well that the problem with Akram, and now if he has, I think it was in his hamstring, that was his problem. He won't play. He was subbed off after 62 minutes. Maybe against Rosenborg he will be subbed early as well. So, and with this tight schedule, the problem with Akram at this price is he has to deliver in the first half, because he will be subbed off early in the second half because of his fitness, and now with his hamstring problem, maybe even earlier. But in game week 1, the only team that you would maybe transfer them out for is Bodø/Glimt, and they have Haugesund at home and then Rosenborg away. So not the best fixtures. So if you don't have Bodø/Glimt already, I would maybe not transfer them in this game week.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's not a new for Ikram to be subbed off early. I think last season when they peaked in the second part of the season in a winning streak, Ikram did not survive more than 70 minutes in pretty much all games, but he was getting the goal, the assist, the 3 bonus points in the pocket, and he goes. So he reminds me in Aguero in FPL, where you cannot anticipate him to play a full game, but you do know that he will deliver, and he gets the 9 points, the 10 points, probably week in, week out. So would that matter too much? Maybe not. Depends really how you feel. Depends really how what kind of a manager you are. If you are an Ikram lawyer, he will deliver for you, but you will expect that his game time is not 90 minutes. It's 65 or 70 minutes. So I looked at him near halftime when he went to pick up a corner in the extra time of the first half. He looked really tired. He barely can walk. So understandably, no games for more than 6 months since the season ended in December, so you can understand that. So yeah, it's a tough one as well. I think that's pretty much it. I will just put your team on the screen, Jakob. That's the bus team, courtesy Headed Cheaters in FPL. The bus team. as it stands now, you have a 4-5-1 exciting formation with Salvesen captain. What is your game week 2 plans, and how you are shaping up for next game week?
Yeah, my bench is full of cheap players, so the red card of James was not the best thing that could have happened. But as you said, we got 11 points on our bench, so maybe they're not too bad after all. It stands between Foss and Vogt, who I would replace for James, and I believe Sandefjord have a better fixture than Stabæk have. And I already have 2 Stabæk defense, and I don't want 3 Stabæk defenders against Vålerenga. And as you said, captain on Salvesen, I don't think I have that many good options in my team. I am tempted to go with Helland again because he was good in preseason, and suddenly he scores against a Molde defense.
Yeah.
If they get a penalty or if he swings in a good corner or something. But as of now, Salvesen is my clear captain, and also Ofkir against Mjøndalen is my vice captain.
Yeah, exciting one. My team is here. It's a 4-4-2 formation. James on the bench as well. Berg, I put him first sub. Because I still think he will get more points than Disler, which is weird thing. But if he gets 2 or 3 bonus points, so you talk about 4 to 5 points. I don't think that's a clean sheet for Disler, 5-6 points. I don't think there is a clean sheet for Hedgesand. So the vice captain is on Singernagel as a result. Vogt gets a start in my team. I started him last week. It was a last minute change when I saw the team sheet and he was in, but there is always Jonathan to take his place. Now Mats Sulheim is injured in his hand, probably some stitches as well. So will he be rest or not? When he was subbed off with Jonathan. So it might be that Jonathan will play as a right back and Vogt keep his place as a left back. Although just before we go live, you had some news that Stabæk signed a backup right back. So I don't think he will play anytime soon. But it's from Reinheim, right? A right back from Reinheim.
Jørgen Øverås from Reinheim.
Yeah, so he might be in the mix as well in the next game weeks, but I don't think he will start straight away. Boyang subbed off early, probably tactical because they were behind, and I don't know. It makes me feel that he will get another star, but what do you think?
We will get team news on Mjøndalen Sarpsborg, so it's a wait and see for him because he was not. As I posted on Twitter, he was very high up the pitch and he was in some good crossing positions, but it seemed like he didn't want to cross the ball and he didn't control the ball that good. So I think it was a tactical sub, but I don't think the coach was too happy with his performance either.
Okay, well, that's something to keep an eye on. I'm not so keen to ship him out anyway if he's on the bench as well. Maybe I would just rather roll the transfer, but it's something to keep an eye on if he loses his place for longer term. Maigard, Sandberg, Zachariasen, and Signal. I call this meet is Miss ZZ, which is like a sleeping ZZ. But let's see if Maigard and Zachariasen turn up this game week. Borvin is my captain at the moment. Kinoshita is up there as well. I don't have a clear captain. That's the problem. I don't have Salvesen. It would be easy locked in, and I don't trust Maigard. Probably Maigard. I just gamble on him. Maybe he delivers, but I did not see much from him in game week 1 to make me comfortable captaining. So we will see. Right, so this is it with the stream. Jakob, thanks very much for joining me here, and thanks to everyone on the stream as well. We are now on 22 at this moment in time. So thanks to everyone who joined this stream, and good luck, Jakob, for game week 2.
Good luck, Karam.
Yeah, and good luck to everyone. And please like, share, and subscribe. And see you next time or in the Slack as well. Take care, everyone.
Bye.